We are live. We are here. It is week 6. It is the Bleav NFL live reaction show right here on the Bleav YouTube channel. So jump in the chat, drop in a comment, join the conversation because the Bleav Sports Network has 32 NFL podcasts with 32 former NFL players for every single team matched with our fantastic and wildly talented Bleav roster. We are here every single Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Jump in the chat. I got to bring in my co-host here right now.
Yes.
He's the
That's me.
Bleav in Seahawks Take 12 podcast. Brett Davern's very own. It's our first time hanging out, and we are doing it at just the most delicious time. Break us in. What's going on in the Seahawks Cardinals game?
Breaking news. Okay, this might be the first time this ever happened in the history of this show, where the person who's supposed to be doing the reaction is behind in the games. Okay, I had to pause it. Okay, I had to pause it, and even worse, something happened with my Sunday ticket this year, and I'm watching on Red Zone. So I'm behind on paused Red Zone. Okay, so I'm like catching up, scrubbing with my finger here because I was outside doing yard work like a good husband and father on a Sunday. And, I have young children, so sometimes I'll just save the game till later. And to be honest, Joey, I kind of forgot we were doing this.
You're a man who can't stand commercials, and look, we're flying by the seat of our pants every second.
I'm too honest for my own good. Also, I mean, I could BS you and tell you I know exactly what's going on, but I'm catching up.
You're going to see a lot of fantastic Panthers furious comeback action coming towards you right now.
Okay. All right.
And look, we got a fantastic next hour ahead of us right now. And coming up in 10 minutes, former Bears defensive end, my co-host Corey Wootton's going to join us. And then stick around. Charity Stripes' very own Nick Kreider is going to join us at 4:40 to break down all the games.
How long
and
do
you will
I
be
have
caught
to
up by
stick
then,
around, Joey, or can I go enjoy the end of this game at some point?
Of course you can. Of course you can. You're dropping in. You're dropping in. It's looking good. You're playing Kyler Murray. Once you see the interception, we'll see the dance. We'll see the celebration.
Ooh,
you do what you got to do.
So right now, it's the top of the fourth right now. Tyler Lockett just caught one, scampered out of bounds. It's 12-9 Seahawks. By the way, Kenneth Walker, as I've been catching up, Kenneth Walker looks like he might be a superstar in this league. Hello. I mean, sad to see Rashad Penny go down, of course, like guy who's always been there for us and signed the 1-year contract. Sad to see him go down. Our hearts were in our throats. But just, the rookie here, as I'm catching up, number 9, looking good.
Yeah, that was my first question for you is as a Seahawks observer and analyst and fantastic podcast here on the Bleav Sports Network. What is it right now? It's Geno Smith in the present, but it's this possibility of a high ceiling like Kenneth Walker moving forward that keeps this Seahawks team really frisky. What do you think the story is going to be about moving forward? Because, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the Geno thing, too, as well. Break it down.
It's all about Geno, man. Are you a Silicon Valley fan?
As in the show or as in the general culture of being?
Well, we could talk about the actual Valley if you want, but I meant the TV show.
Absolutely.
Geno fucks. Lofa Tatupu, my illustrious co-host and former All-Pro for the Seahawks, he said it first. So I'm taking that from him. But he said it on our show, and he said it last season, actually, when Geno came in for Russ a little bit. Not that we were saying Geno should take Russ's job or anything at the time, but Lofa just kind of said it. It became kind of an inside joke, and then this year we're being proven right, man. I mean, he looks great. I don't know what this means for him going forward. Honestly, I think we got to see how the rest of the season plays out. But right now, I think I can speak for all Seahawks fans when I just say we're just enjoying the ride.
It's got to feel.
We're enjoying the ride, Joey.
Broncos, let's ride. Does not fuck.
No.
And it's kind of moving from anti-fuck to Geno fucks in this situation. So, like, move it even further. As a Seahawks fan, emotionally, you're with Russ. You go through Super Bowls. Totally. You're married to this guy. Long-term relationship. You guys break up. You never think you're going to find anything again. You know it's going to be a while. But you have to feel some redemption, right? I mean, this Geno experience, it's a hot, fun fling. 6 games in, keep playing, but this is best case scenario.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, we couldn't be happier right now. I mean, our record could be better, and I'll find out what happens in this game as I catch up. But I think we were in the only game the Seahawks this year. I think we're really kind of out of maybe. Was the Niners game. The Niners really just kind of put it on us. But every other game, they've really had some chances. And as the team gels, so we can use all the sports cliches we want. It's a young team, so they're getting older with every week. They're getting more experienced, and it's 19-9 for some reason.
There you go. No, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party, my friend.
Here we go.
Hit that edge and find it. We were talking about him, and he just keeps getting better and better.
Oh, man. Yeah. Wow. All right.
Yeah. So wait, real quick, ride that great energy and throw a little shade on the 49ers right now. If you want to, because they lost today 28-14 to the Falcons.
Ooh,
a lot of people have them in top 10 power rankings, talking a lot about a defense.
Yeah.
But this division, this NFC West, the Rams going through a hangover, whatever you want to call it. They just don't look great. 49ers, who knows? Seahawks sitting right there. So, I mean, are you scared of the 49ers as a Seahawks fan?
We're never scared of the 49ers,
There you go.
We talk about Crabtree? You want to talk about Crabtree? No. Seahawks fans are never scared of the 49ers. As a matter of fact, the Seahawks own the 49ers. I mean, they got us pretty good here in game number 1, but I think I saw something where with Russ, he was like 12-4 against the Niners, 15-5. So I mean, I don't know. His record was great against them. So we've been great against them. We're not scared of them. And you bring up an interesting point though, because a lot of people I think thought the NFC West would be, one of the strongest divisions in football. And people are kind of struggling. Like you said, Carolina's going to come back on the Rams. I'm waiting for that to happen.
They're working on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's anybody's division. And especially if Geno, look, you want some more sports cliches, Joey? You got to be trending in the right direction come playoff time, right? So it's not how you finish.
Let me demonstrate. We want the arrow like this, folks. We want it like this. Yes. Anything below, we're not going to be able to.
Totally.
Well, but you know what? Real quick, the NFC West is indicative of this NFC in general, because as we're seeing right now, a lot of teams either struggling or, the Buccaneers lose today, the Packers lose today. No one expected that. And the NFC West is emblematic of an NFC that maybe has the Eagles on top, but everyone else 9-10 wins, getting in the playoffs. And that's good news for people like the Seahawks.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. This could be like one of those down and dirty years in the NFC, where like maybe – look, I think we could finish above 500 if we keep playing at this level I'm watching right now. So it's not like we make it in like we did that one year when they were 8 and 9.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever they were.
Oh, and then you ran into a buzzsaw named Jay Cutler.
Hey, we don't need to talk about that. Those are different days. But yeah, look, all you got to do is get in, and then you see what happens. I mean, look at my Mariners, right? I mean, RIP, they get swept by the Stros. Everybody hates the Stros. Nobody likes to lose to the Stros. The Stros are terrible cheaters who should, be ashamed of themselves forever. But the Blue Jays, nobody can do that. They're major underdogs. So you just got to get in to the tournament, and then you kind of, you see what happens. I don't know.
Did you watch all 18 innings?
Yes. Yes. Okay, Joey. I was at a kid's birthday party.
Yes.
Okay. It started at 2. So it was in the neighborhood. So, I mean, we left the house, drove over. So I missed that time. I get there, the game's on. Luckily, they're good friends because we did not leave until the game was over. Like the party was over. The candy was like strewn from the piñata, like sadly on the ground. Like everything was like a mess left over. And there's
a fresh garbage bag being blown out in the kitchen because it's over. We did it.
Our friend who's like throwing the party, they're like cleaning up like quietly as I'm just sitting there like biting my nails. And of course he hits the Pena, and then it's just like I stayed for the bottom, of course. I was rooting them on, but then as soon as the 3 outs for us in the bottom of the whatever it was 19th, I just stood up and I was like, "Thanks, guys. See you next time. Thank you."
Kind of worked your back out like you're on a long road trip of some kind.
The best would have been if my wife and children had already gone home, but no, they stuck it out with me.
And now you're doing yard work, and that's the balance, my friend. And that's the balance. And I'll go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say, this is the thing, Joey. I'm here to commiserate with you. It's been a rough sports weekend in Seattle with what happened with the Mariners. Hopes were high, They had a home playoff game for the first time. I mean, it's just, But hey, shout out to the Mariner fans for sticking around for the whole thing. The place was packed. They stopped selling beer in like the 7th inning or something. It was the most sober. All those poor people, man. I mean, what can you do? All you can do is laugh. Hey, listen, for real, Joey, for 1 second, all my Mariners fans who are bummed out there, if there's any of you listening, I'm with you. I'm so obviously hurt as well. I did yard work all day. I was outside like chopping wood for real. I'm with you, but it's baseball. One pitch. I don't know. They played a hell of a game. They pitched a hell of a game. The Astros, we hate them, but they pitched a hell of a game. It was a game for the ages.
Well,
one game for the ages.
And I got a cliche for you, and it's apt for this. Is it's something to build on. You hung with them. You went with them. You went with them. You went with them pitch to pitch. And I get it. It's a 50-50 roll of the dice a lot of times, Major League Baseball. But again, get in the dance, see what happens. Totally. I mean, as a Chicago sports fan, I've convinced myself over the years that it is important to have the scars before the triumph. So, yes. And whether I like that or not, I had to wrap my head around that. Well, so, I mean, this is, dude, I mean, it's a baseball memory. It's a Mariners baseball memory.
We got in, we ended the drought. And then when we beat Toronto, it was like, okay, like, I mean, I did say to myself, I was like, anything from here on out is just icing on the cake. And, they swept us. They have good hitters. They have a good offense. They hit some long balls, I mean, a couple of pitches. I think I saw something. Mariners were either tied or ahead in like 30 of 36 innings, or something like that. I mean, they were there. It's just, hey, that's baseball. I don't know. So we're coming back next year. A lot of young talent on the team, Joey. A lot of young talent.
The rising stars. And speaking of the yard work performed today, I had another stat I wanted to throw at you that you probably didn't miss today. I didn't record the actual number, but the number of fumbles lost in the morning games, 10.
Whoa.
It wasn't pretty. Not a pretty slate of games today.
Wow.
I think people are going to be extrapolating a lot about what is wrong with teams tomorrow than what is right with teams, which again, maybe if, Seahawks hang on here, that's one of the ones that you don't have to worry about there.
I got 2 minutes, 12 seconds left. Fourth quarter. Gino, we're driving. We got the ball.
You're almost caught up.
Okay.
You're almost caught up. You're almost right there.
What the hell happened with the Packers this morning?
Next thing you know, they're down 17-3, 17-20. Another game that had a fumble in it. Outside of Adam Lazard, I'm not really sure exactly. I think it's really starting to kind of creep up on the Packers that they don't have the wide receivers. And just in general, this is something that I'm kind of tracking. It's week 6. We like to have fun with it. But Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers right now are not off to great starts. And, we're kind of counting these guys. And just real quick, here are the quarterbacks that threw for 300 yards today. It's a murderer's row. Matt Ryan threw for 300 yards today. Joe Burrow, obvious.
Matty Ice, baby. All right. I like it.
Teddy Bridgewater and Zappy on the Patriots. That's it.
Wow. Okay.
And Brady and Rodgers held to, 222 yards.
Ooh, there goes Kenneth Walker again. I mean, you can tell me what Walker's got right now if you want. Like, he's having a day. Oh, this might get called back for holding, but he just had another.
I can pull it up for you right now. I mean, it's
people gotta be picking him up on the fantasy wires, huh?
Yeah, fun story. I'm in my first auction league ever with a bunch of buddies, and we do a fab budget where you have to pay for money to bid on a player to acquire them in waiver wire. So I put down $37. I mean, I guess I am a Capricorn at heart, pragmatic. I thought that was a juicy chunk of change. Lost out to Kenneth Walker, $137.
Whoa.
So Kenneth Walker, 137. Wow. That's a nice night. That's a nice night out of fictitious fab budget money.
Wow. Already.
It's entree and dessert.
No kidding. No kidding.
So, I mean,
wow.
21 for 97, a touch, catch for 13. So, nice. I mean, fantasy wise, definitely pay it out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll take that. I mean, especially also kind of, it's not like his rookie debut. He's played in games, but I mean, as kind of being who a lot of people think will be running back number 1 here going forward. You got to say hell of a debut, don't you?
No, I mean, here's the thing now is that it can completely kind of change the fortunes of your season now. I mean, we like Rashad Penny, because he had a great finish to last year, right? But I mean, not only is this guy a future, because you took him in what round did you take him?
High. I mean, no later than the third. It was first, second, somewhere.
Yeah, and he's performing and playing like this, running like this. Take a little heat off of Geno if he cools off a little bit, but steady at the train. I mean, a lot to look forward to. Brett, I got an option for you. Door number 1, door number 2.
Okay.
It's great. It's great to see it. Thanks for coming on Bleav NFL Live. We got Corey Wootton in the room right now. You want to hang with Corey and pop a couple questions his way, or do you want to watch the rest of your Seahawks?
Yeah, no, why not? Hey, why not? I'll at least say hi. We're here. We're live. Let's do it.
We're here. We're live. Let's do it. Here he is coming in right now. He's probably texting me saying what's up. He is former Bears defensive end. He is Northwestern Wildcat, and he also works for CHGO. You can't hear me? Go to your we can hear you. We got your audio. Go into audio settings.
It's got to be the Bluetooths.
Sometimes it is the Bluetooths. Yeah.
Dude,
you're gonna
you know what?
hop back in.
This whole thing, I mean, I'm just going to say congratulations to all of us for ever figuring any of this out. That's what I'm going to say. Because like everyone's like, oh, we've been doing this for years. Everyone should have it figured out. No, it hasn't been that long at all. We all used to meet face to face. We'd be in a studio, Josh. We'd be wearing makeup. You know what I mean? Those days are gone, my friend. Now I just try to sit in front of my pillows just so that, I try to find a nice corner of the house.
No, just shop out a sweet ring light and just, warm it and bring it. And you know what I mean? and just get it right.
You got a glam squad, don't you? Come on, be honest. You got a whole glam squad behind on the other side. If you flip that computer around,
I mean, I would fall apart. First of all, tech wise, I'd fall apart without my wife. I'd be an utter mess. I'd probably still have a landline. Just because if I'm out, Brett. You can't find me.
Dude, I love that. Not for no kidding. I asked my wife the other night, I was like, find out how much just a landline is. I'm kind of done with this whole thing. I was being serious. I was like, and she was like, oh, come on. It's got to be like $10 a month. I was like, if it is, we're both dropping our cell phones. I'm done. I'm out with Twitter between the Mariners, the Seahawks, who, looking good. I mean, it's just we have our hearts broken all the time, and then I look at Twitter, I get all upset all over again. Joey, it's a terrible existence for me sometimes. Hi, Corey.
Corey, can you hear us? You got us?
Yeah, I was. The first time I logged in, I couldn't hear you guys at all, and then I heard the great thing about landlines. You're talking about AOL, what's your username or something like that,
right? Hey, man, like sometimes these smartphones are too smart. I know there's too much on there, man. I get buried in it. I don't want my kids growing up just knowing my face as like the back of my phone with like hair around it. You know what I mean? It's hard to
true, man.
Yeah,
it is. Once you get on there, especially during football season, man, you're looking at the stats and stuff. Catch myself today, like, okay, Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, so Corey, let's dive in, man. Totally. Where do you want to start? I mean, what caught my eye real quick is the Giants, the team where you grew up won again today. But what was the biggest takeaway from the morning games for you?
Well, yeah, the Giants, that was the biggest thing for me, and are they the new Tennessee a few years ago, right? Like have a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over, right? Have a great running game, playing great defense. That's what it seems like the Giants do. And I know they've been waiting for a Kayvon Thibodeau to have like his breakout game. He has the strip sack at the end, then recovers it. So it was a big, to ice the game there. But they keep winning, man. Hats off to Brian Dable, Mike Kafka, my college quarterback, now the coordinator. So him and Dable are dialing up stuff. And listen, this is a very similar team to the Bears, if you think about it, right? The defense is a little bit better. But when you talk about weapons, they don't really have any weapons. Kenny Golladay hasn't played. Sterling Shepard got hurt a few weeks ago, tore his ACL. So literally, their weapons are pretty much Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. I mean, and they're winning games, right? And hats off to them because they don't have the same weapons that a lot of these teams do, like Kansas City and the Bills. So hats off to them for what they've been able to do this year. I think.
Corey, I was going to ask. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to jump in and ask before I get out of here because I think. They did. They just won, Joey. The Seahawks won. I'm behind.
There you go.
There we go. I caught up. Corey, and Joey too. I mean, when's the last time that both New York newspapers are going to have good things to say about the Jets and the Giants on the same weekend?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while, right?
Right?
Eli Sanchez days?
I
Maybe.
mean,
Yeah,
early
yeah.
Sanchez days, though, not butt fumble days. Early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2011, right? 2011,
Right.
they were both. That's the year that they made the AFC Championship, the Jets, and that's the year the Giants won the Super Bowl. So
Right.
both
Yeah,
New
this
York
is like-
teams were really good that year.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Thomas
man, but
Jones,
that's
Brandon
over a decade.
Jacobs.
That's over a
Exactly.
decade, man, though, right? I mean, I saw the Sauce Gardner thing with the cheesehead. You guys see that?
Yeah, and then it got slapped out of his head by Alan Lazard. Bro, stop being salty, man. Y'all lost, man.
But shades of T.O. on the star in Dallas or something.
Yeah, exactly, man. Sauce has been great. That was a great pickup by them, man. Big, tall, physical corner. Can lock you down, plays run well. That's been a great pickup, and hats off to Salah. I know last year wasn't pretty at times, and even this year, the way they kind of started a little up and down, they seem like they're hitting their groove, and it's the perfect recipe for another young quarterback, which the Bears would do, right? Play better defense. And that's what the Jets are doing there. They're relying on that defense. Zach Wilson, he's not lighting them up by any means. You look at what he had today. I think he had like 130 yards passing.
No, 100. I think I had 110. I had 110 passing.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And the defense just plays solid, right? They went to Green Bay, which is a tough place to play against who we think is arguably one of the best to ever do it, and they shut them down. So hats off to them.
Well, Salah, I mean, you guys, both of you, I mean, he's got to be just like, he's got to just go back, smoke like a fast cigar, take like whatever he's into, just like, and be like, like this has got to feel great. I mean, for both those guys, right? Because both those teams are just not, they just haven't been great lately, and they're great, and it's got to feel good. You're in New York, you're in the #1 media market in the country. I mean, this has got to feel amazing.
Yeah, Brett. So real quick so you're talking about both New York football teams possibly on the cover of both publications tomorrow. Who knows what happens with the Yankees, right? But is tonight the night where Robert Saleh is like, your car is ready to take you home, and he's like, you know what? I'm going out tonight. Like, is tonight the night? Is tonight the night to show face? Like
first night out in New York, man.
Right, he's keeping those receipts, man. He talked about it early in the year, man, and hats off to them, because there's a lot of teams that go through that period when the beginning of the season happens, they're not winning. They kind of go in the tank, and they're like, oh, why me? Why this? And they just put their head down. And they're playing scrappy football, both New York teams, and that's the recipe for success. You play great defense. Offensively, you take control of the ball. You don't turn it over, right? And that keeps you in the games. That's the key right there. So,
well, the NFL's better when the New York teams are good anyway. It's just fun. They're classic. Like, they were wearing those LT uniforms, or are they doing that all the time now? But that was great. I saw that.
Exactly.
I mean, they're classic. They're the Jets and the Giants. I'm a Seahawk fan, obviously, but like, it's fun. I'd rather see the New York teams in the playoffs than like the Carolina Panthers or something like that. Come on,
Houston Texans, or I'll throw them under the bus there. No one's tuning in. No one's tuning in for the 10 a.m. Pacific
I gotta
Coast
go,
time.
Joey. I gotta go. Have fun with all the emails you get from Panthers fans.
Oh no,
Brett Davern, dude, thank you so much, man. Good to meet you, dude, and be well. Have a great day. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys.
All right, my man. Take it easy, bro.
Bye, Corey.
See you, dude.
Bye, man.
Once the Seahawks won, he was riding high all of a sudden. So Corey, I wanted to drop this one out to you real quick. Maybe we'll start broad, and then we'll dig into a couple of games that you have highlighted a little bit. I thought the football today wasn't exactly up to the greatest quality of standard today. Some of the games were a little on the ugly side. I was telling Brett earlier, I counted 10 fumbles lost in the morning games. Combined, dude. That's a lot. I mean, for you, that's great news, right? Because the ball's getting out. That's your job. But what was your biggest takeaway just from the games in general today? Because we had some surprises for sure.
Yeah, I think like we were talking about before we started talking with Brett, like the Mitchell Trubisky, right, coming off the bench after Kenny Pickett goes in the concussion protocol, and leading the team to victory. I mean, he looked really, really good in there. It's good to see because, I think he's a great guy, and I want to see him do well. I know a lot of people, when he wasn't doing as well the first couple of weeks, are like, oh yeah, same old Trubisky. Yep, that's why he's over there. And to see him come off the bench, he got benched, then he comes off the bench and performs well, leads him to victory, and looked really good out there. Like his rating was through the roof in the snaps he had. So hats off to them. And, Steelers have been struggling to get a win. So for him to do that and to be confident after getting benched, I think that's the most impressive part about it.
Yeah, I think their defense really stood up to as well. I mean, the Buccaneers clearly are having problems on offense, but I think the Steelers defense actually played a really, really strong, stout game, held them to field goals, kept them in. And then, Mitch was able to get that touchdown to extend the lead, and they were able to hang in there. I mean, Corey, I don't want to – it's related to the game. I don't want to, get too far off subject with it, but, man, in my personal opinion, I think Mitch needs to start next week. And my opinion on that is because – Corey, we're starting to see it, man. When you have a concussion and you are ruled out of a game, you probably should play the next week. Are we getting to that point, right? Because you saw,
I think so.
Pickett came out this week, and you see other guys. You saw Cameron Brate in that game too, as well, who clear protocol, came back and played in the game. If we care about Kenny Pickett's future, he should probably sit next week, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what you're going to see when guys have obvious concussions, especially the skill positions, right? Like the quarterback, the wide receiver. They're really going to protect those guys a little bit more because those are really the faces of the franchise, especially the quarterback rather. And Kenny Pickett, like you said, a young guy. And you don't want to have that one hit that kind of leads to multiple concussions, right? Like remember that guy Austin Collie, right? The wide receiver that played for the Colts. He had that really bad concussion where he got knocked out. And then after that, it seemed like little hits knocked him out after that. So you just never want to be in a situation where you have that one hit that leads to you, starting to have multiple concussions after just minor hits, what it seems like, the routine hits rather. So you don't want to see that. And obviously, right, Trubisky led him to victory. Pickett looked pretty good in there when he was in there. But I feel like right now, give him another week. You see what Trubisky can do. And if Trubisky looks good and leads you to victory, obviously, you got yourself a little QB dilemma there, which I think is a good thing. You got two guys that potentially can lead you to victory, and never count the Steelers out, right? As long as they have Mike Tomlin, I believe in them, and we've talked about this a lot. Like we were talking about the Bears possibly getting, a guy like Mike Tomlin or Sean Payton or one of those guys.
Yeah, no.
Like Mike Tomlin, I mean, he's one of the best for a reason. The guys buy into it, and it seems like year in and year out, they always start out the season, where they have a couple bad games and they look like they're going to be down in the dumps. And then all of a sudden they make a pivot and then start winning games, grinding them out, relying on defense. It doesn't look pretty offensively. So this never count these Steelers out, especially with Mike Tomlin out there. I love him as a coach.
And walking into the week, right, Corey, they look at this and they go, oh man, the Buccaneers, okay, we're 1-4 right now. They win this game. They're 2-4. The Browns lose. The Ravens lose. Okay, the Bengals won, but they're already, you know what I mean? The division tightened today for them.
Exactly.
I get it. They play the Eagles next week. But, man, all of a sudden, it kind of goes two different ways for the Steelers this year. If you go 1-5, man, you just start thinking differently. I mean, what happens in the locker room if you go 1-5 as opposed to 2-4? And then you look at your division and you go, oh, man, we're right in it. We're right there.
Exactly. So one game, they say every week matters. And I truly believe that, right? Because obviously, whatever happened in the weeks prior, your focus should be on getting a win that day. And every good team, regardless of what type of start they get out, they usually have that one game where it starts the momentum. Last year for San Francisco, that was the Bears game when they played them. Remember? Both teams were at the same part. Both teams weren't performing well. And it was this is the game that's gonna say, hey, where are the Bears and 49ers going to be after this? And San Francisco got the win, and then all of a sudden, that's when they started that momentum, kept stacking wins, and they go all the way to the NFC Championship. So there's usually that one game in a season that's kind of like that momentum-defining game that kind of sets up the rest of the season. And I think this potentially could be, especially against Brady and the Bucs. And so I want to talk to you about how Tom Brady and the Bucs have been struggling. I know he's dealing with a lot of personal issues, and I think people really are sleeping on how much that is affecting him. His family, his wife, his kids. Them being together is now at stake because of his decision to come back. So I know that's got to be looming on there. They're talking to divorce lawyers, talking about how they're going to divvy up things, and so that's definitely got to be on his mind. And you got to think in the back of his mind, is he thinking hey, I made my wife a promise and now, I reneged on it. And all of a sudden now it's costing me my family. Was it worth it? Right. You know,
is this what I signed up for? Yeah. When I decided
exactly.
I decided to unretire, maybe he just thought that they'd be cool with it, and they're not.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's holding a lot of weight out there, and people aren't realizing like, oh, Tom Brady doesn't care about this. Like, he's a human. Like, he's arguably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. But he's a human being, and I think people are sleeping on the fact of how much this is affecting his game. Right? If you're not right up here, how is the greatest of all time supposed to be out there dropping dimes? You know, throwing for 4 or 5 touchdown passes? It's not going to happen.
So, I mean, Corey, what I see from the Buccaneers, though, is that Leonard Fournette, I think, is having a really strong season. You know what I mean? They get him involved a lot. They get him a lot. He's really involved in the passing game, but they kind of miss that backup running back. They miss a little bit of that. You know, some of the guys that they've had in the past from the depth perspective. But I mean, just in general, we might have lost Corey here. While he's doing that, I'm going to do a quick check-in on 24-20 right now, and Patrick Mahomes just threw a pick. I have Bills going in that game. We'll see what happens. But yeah, no, in general, I think with Tom Brady too as well on the field is, you know, Leonard Fournette is very active. They almost have to lean on him too much. And Godwin and Mike Evans are doing what they need to do, but they're still missing like that third guy, that tight end. Just something, that luxury that they've had in these past couple of years that made them Super Bowl contenders. And we're just not really seeing that right now. And Corey, got you back?
Yeah, I got it back. I don't know if there was some connection. It was going in slow motion now. Sorry. Can you repeat what you were saying just so I get that? You were saying something about tight end, right? I heard that.
Yeah. So I mean, for the Buccaneers moving forward, I'm just trying to figure out, you know, it's only week 6. He still is Tom Brady. This will get better. I see Leonard Fournette is almost being relied on too much, especially in the passing game in particular. And I think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they're producing maybe not the big plays that we were accustomed to seeing from them. But Corey, what is it? They're missing that tight end. They're missing that third receiver. They're missing that, I don't know, what is it? The underneath that is what made Tom Brady and the Buccaneers offense so special the last couple of years. They seem to be short in areas.
Exactly. That's kind of what they're missing. And we've always talked about this, right? That's what we were hoping for the Bears, for Cole Kmet to come alive because of that tight end position, right? How valuable that is, especially in the red zone. I think people.
Oh, we might have Corey frozen again. And this is Bleav NFL Live, folks. It looks like the Patrick Mahomes interception is under review. Is it an interception? It is an interception. I'm definitely hoping we get Corey back because I got to talk to him about Bills Chiefs because I just don't think we get graced with this kind of competitive football after a day that was a little rough around the edges. I'll be honest. We can kind of go around the horn a little bit here, hopefully with Corey in a second. But yeah, some of the games that took place today, the Giants, they moved to 5-1. They beat the Ravens 24-20. Lamar Jackson held only 210 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Steelers Buccaneers, we just covered that a little bit. Steelers avoid going 1-5, move to 2-4. Combination of Pickett and Trubisky. Pickett left the game with a concussion, and the Buccaneers lose. Oh, coming back. Let's try and see if we can get him into this one. Yeah, switching boxes. There we go. There we go.
Yeah. So you were saying Patrick Mahomes threw a pick?
Yeah, threw a pick. Under review, it turned out to be an interception. And
oh man,
I mean, Corey, those are the two teams at the end of the day, right? Still, I mean, in the AFC.
Yeah,
I mean, we could talk a lot about Allen,
Patrick Mahomes, two of the best quarterbacks in the game right now. 2 young guys, and think about how that division is going to be the next 10 years. You know, with them in there, it's going to be like it's going to be a face-off every year in the AFC Championship. You know, kind of like how the Patriots were that stable in the AFC when Tom Brady was there. That's what you're going to see between both those teams. And hats off to them, like are building.
Oh, we got him frozen again. See if I add him back. Let's see what happens. And if he doesn't come back, I'll continue my rundown of the scores from the morning. Steelers, as we mentioned, 20-18 over the Buccaneers. Bengals beat the Saints. That game got a little frisky. Joe Burrow throws for 300 yards. Jamar Chase, fantasy football, 7 catches, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. They win 30-26 over the Saints. Vikings, once again, got up to a big lead. Let a team come back into it. Teddy Bridgewater throws for 329, but honestly, a lot of garbage yards in there. Tyreek Hill, 12 receptions for 177, and Jalen Waddle, 6 catches for 129 yards. Justin Jefferson in this game, 6 catches for 107. The Vikings move to first place, while the Packers lose, which we'll get to in just a second. Colts beat the Jaguars 34-27. I had the Jaguars in this game with Jonathan Taylor not playing. Didn't happen because Matt Ryan throws for 389, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. The Jaguars, they made it interesting in this game. Trevor Lawrence tried to give him a comeback, had 2 rushing touchdowns in the game, but it wasn't enough. Michael Pittman, 13 catches, 134 yards. Jets, as we mentioned, beat the Packers. Is the Jets defense for real? Maybe we'll ask Corey if he's able to hop back in. They beat the Packers 27-10. There's a lot of talk. I'm really interested to see what Aaron Rodgers says in his post-game press conference, because last week he wasn't happy. He was the veteran who was upset, the cranky old veteran of we need to play better. Well, they certainly didn't this week. He only throws for 246, 1 touchdown. And Zach Wilson only needs 110 passing yards to win this game because Bryce Hall puts up 116 on his own. And then finally, Patriots stomp on the Browns. Jacoby Brissett, 266 with 2 interceptions. Zappy, 309 passing yards. He's one of the top passing yard guys of the day. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And the Falcons, 28-14 over the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo, 2 picks in that game. Mariota almost gets 200 all-purpose yards with 2 touchdowns too as well. So is that game over? 24-20 Bills? 24-20 Bills. Beat the Kansas City Chiefs. We can come up with all the hot takes that we want on Monday, but let's be honest. Both those teams are really good. Someone had to win that game. It probably was a coin flip. And at the end of the day, it was the Buffalo Bills coming in. We're going to try Corey here. Corey, we got you.
All right. I think we should be good, man. Can you hear me good?
I hear you perfect, man.
All right, perfect. So I was gonna ask you, right? If you are a GM right now, who do you want as the quarterback number 1? Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, Mahomes.
So
I love Mahomes because the things that the unique way, the style that he plays. And maybe it's because also there's something that comes from it that starts from a baseball perspective. When you see those sidearm throws, you see that off balance, off kilter stuff. You see him literally tricking people with his body posture to throw across his body that's maybe more in the middle of the field than it would be in a throwing lane that any other quarterback on the planet could possibly pull off. And look, I love Josh Allen. This is This is damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I mean, I've already seen Patrick Mahomes do it. He's already super young. And that's probably why I'd lean with him. Are you saying that you would take Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes?
It's a close one, man. I think I would, honestly. Josh Allen, I think he's such a different breed of a quarterback, right? Like, I know Patrick Mahomes can do absolutely crazy stuff where he throws it around his back, spins, what he can do, right? And he can pass the ball deep. He can do everything. But I feel like Josh Allen, what he showed me last year in the playoff game against Patrick Mahomes, when they're going head to head. And I know everybody always said, oh, Patrick Mahomes is better. And he's, Josh Allen, we got to see about him. And then in a big stage in the big game, literally, they were going back and forth the whole time, right? Josh Allen led them to victory, what you had thought, and then Patrick Mahomes comes back. But I think Josh Allen took the next step for me to see that, like, hey, this dude is legit, right? Not only during the regular season, but now in the playoffs, right? He's performing at a high level, and I think his ability to run is up there. Like, he's probably
there's a physicality, right? That edge Josh Allen on that over Mahomes.
Oh, yeah. And his speed too. Like, I feel like people really sleep on how fast he is for such a big guy. And the thing what I love is, like, being how big he is, right? He can scramble and take hits a little more than another quarterback, right? Like a Lamar Jackson or a Justin Fields. Like, it doesn't affect him the same way, right? Because he's built different. So, and you look at this game. I mean, he was unbelievable out there. 330 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, he outperformed Patrick Mahomes on the big stage. So, in my mind, I think he's just so Patrick Mahomes hit the ground running, right? His first year starting was up here, right? Josh Allen, not so much, right? People were questioning him, but the progression and how he worked at it, right? Understanding coverages, understanding his limitations at times, and catering to his strengths, and that's what I love about him is he started from down here and now he's at the top. So that's why I'm picking him, because I think he's going to continue getting better. I think he is. I think he's, when it's all said and done, I think every year you're going to say, hey, who's the best quarterback? You know how like Aaron Rodgers, everyone was saying, oh, okay, he's arguably the best. I think that's going to be Josh Allen, right? And I think it could be a thing like Tom Brady, where you're saying, hey, Patrick Mahomes has more Super Bowl rings than him, so he's better, But I mean, both of them are really good. You can't.
Yeah.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't, like you said.
Yeah, no, totally. And it could definitely be Josh Allen's time this year. It's definitely Josh Allen's week today as he beats the Kansas City Chiefs. Fernando Crespo in the chat says, shout out to the G-Men who are now 5-1. Good for you guys, man. Feel good about it, right? I mean, you've earned it. I mean, at this point, this isn't luck. You're not falling into that at all. Corey, man, stick around just for a little bit. We're going to bring in our second guest of the day. He is Charity Stripes Nick Kreider. Bring him in right now. We're going to toss him into this conversation that we're having right now. What's up, Nick? How are you, man?
What's going on, guys? How are we doing?
What's going on, bro? How are you?
Good. Well. I promise we're going to talk some pods at some point here. Talk a little Padres baseball. But first, real quick, just dive into the conversation that me and Corey are having. We call this segment a little bit Stepping on Monday. Obviously, a topic that'll probably be trending tomorrow morning, but we're going to talk about it right now. Just play the game, man. If you had a draft right now for the next 10 years, who are you taking, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes?
Man, that's tough. I think Patrick Mahomes, just going on track record, he's a proven winner already, and he's looking like he's getting it done with just a bunch of, misfit toys with all the new wide receivers he has. Like, of course, he's got Kelsey, but all the other guys getting second chances out there, and they're really making the most of it.
Yeah, and Corey, real quick, I mean, that was going to be one of the things I was going to bring up to maybe put some ink in the dye of me taking Patrick Mahomes. First of all, Josh Allen, that teardrop dime that he threw in the end zone there to, I think it was Gabe Davis early in the first half, was just, it's an elite level throw. There's only a few people in the NFL or on this planet that can do it. But Nick, to your point, man, I was really curious about Patrick Mahomes, especially when they got rid of Tyreek Hill, and just kind of realizing then the next year or two, Travis Kelce's prime will come to an end. And these golden pieces that Patrick Mahomes has had, like a Tyreek Hill and a Travis Kelce, eventually they're going to have to cycle that out. Right. And Corey, man, what's your take on him? It looks like he's been able to assimilate a little bit, but this is going to be a new Chiefs era moving forward, where they're going to have to keep trying to find guys for Mahomes to throw the ball to. And can Mahomes continue an elite level with different pieces as the years move on?
Yeah, I think he can continue to play at a high level without some of those pieces. But Travis Kelce, I mean, that's the engine that runs on this Kansas City team. You look at the last game last week, right? He had 4 touchdown passes just to Travis Kelce, right? In the red zone. And we talked about that, right? We do the Bears podcast, and we talk about their struggles in the red zone. Why? Because they don't have a great tight end that can catch the ball in the red zone. So Travis Kelce is that security blanket for Patrick Mahomes. Whenever they need a first down, kind of like how David Montgomery has been as of late, right? With Justin Fields. Like, he's like that security blanket. When they need that first down, they're giving him the rock. That's what Travis Kelce is for Patrick Mahomes. So it'll be interesting to see when Travis Kelce can't perform at the same level, or eventually if he's not there, how is Patrick Mahomes, who's going to be his go-to guy, right? Are they going to draft another guy? I still think he can do well, but I think the red zone success relies heavily on Travis Kelce. So you cut that out, and then all of a sudden, everything gets tighter in the red zone. I always say, like, the Bears, they struggle in the red zone. They get real tight in the red zone because they don't have that go-to guy. And that's what I'm wondering when you remove Travis Kelce from that. How is Patrick Mahomes? I think he'll still find a way to get things done. But, having a guy like him, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, it's tough to replace.
Yeah, Nick, I want to toss it to you like this. It's a bit tangential, but we're talking about quarterbacks here. You look back, we're talking like Dallas Clark and Peyton Manning. Last year, Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. These guys that are these safety valves. Cooper Kupp's obviously the best receiver on the team, but there's always a guy. So, Nick, man, after this Buccaneers game today, does Tom Brady have that guy on the offense right now? Is that a big reason of why they're struggling so much?
I mean, you would think it'd be Mike Evans, but he can't really find him right now. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I heard you, Corey, mentioning about maybe it's the personal issues going on with him and Giselle that's in his head. I mean, maybe he's too busy yelling on his offensive line. I don't know what it is, but Godwin getting healthy is definitely a big X factor here, but they need to figure out how to get red zone plays because I mean, Suck Up can't be their only offense. I mean, I think I picked him up. I had 12 points. I mean, I'm happy about it. But
fantasy star, right?
But at the end of the day, like Tom Brady's just not throwing touchdowns.
Yeah. Nick, follow up real quick. Just open board, man. What was a big game that stuck out to you today? What do you think? What do you think might be a big top storyline moving forward? What stuck out?
I'm sure you guys already touched on it, and I know that guy in the comments talked about it. But the Giants taking down the Ravens, coming to be 5-1. That's pretty incredible. Not something anyone expected, except for Giants fans, I'm sure.
Yeah, except for sneaky Giants fans. The NFC East. Corey, real quick. NFC East, just in general, super frisky, right? I mean,
it is. If you look,
I was just gonna say we threw a lifeboat to the Commanders, but other than that.
Yeah, but you look at kind of the recipe for success. It seems like with these young quarterbacks, right? You have a great running game, like I talked about. You have a great defense that stands up, and you limit your turnovers. That's what the Eagles are doing right now. That's what the Giants are doing right now, and Cowboys, same thing, right? Cooper Rush has been playing a little bit better than Daniel Jones, but I feel like their defense has been strong. The pass rush has been there, being able to stop the run. So that's kind of the recipe across the board, right? You limit your turnovers, play great defense, and that's how you win games in this league. And that's why you see the teams that are struggling to get wins, they're usually not doing all those three things, right? There's a little bit of a mismatch, and especially with the turnovers. We talked about that earlier. You said there was so many games that had unbelievable amount of turnovers, right? In these morning games, and that's the
Nick, 10 lost fumbles in the morning games.
Wow,
combined for all the teams. So
I forgot about ball security. Yes,
exactly.
To your point, to your point, Corey, about all these teams that are successful with young quarterbacks, it really allows, and we talk about this all the time, it allows teams to go out and spend money on other needs. When you have a young guy on his rookie deal who's balling out, similar to what Mahomes did when they won the Super Bowl. Obviously, he got an extension later on, but Herbert on a rookie deal, they're able to go out and spend money, make trades, be able to stay within the cap salary. You talk about the Eagles, Hurts, like that really allows your team to do so much more and be flexible. So, if a guy isn't losing you games and he's playing well enough, to just manage the game like Daniel Jones is doing, then you've got a great recipe for success.
Exactly. And imagine when they actually give him weapons next year, right? They give him, two solid receivers, maybe a tight end. So I think that's what they're going to invest in, right? The offensive line and the receivers for him. Their defense is pretty good for the most part. They need to invest in maybe a good pass rusher. I feel like that's what's kind of missing. They play really stout run, but I think they need a dominant pass rusher. But I think if they can get those weapons, I mean, I think the sky's the limit. They're already 5-1, and you look at their receiving core and there's nobody that stands out at all by any means. So talk about old school, gritty, smash mouth football. That's what the Giants are playing. And it's not pretty. It's not like looking at Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, but hey, 5-1 is 5-1. You know what I mean? Like it really doesn't matter how you get it done. And Joey, we talked about this. This is what I thought the Bears were going to do, right? Play great defense, run the football, work some play actions, take the pressure off Justin Fields. And what do we see? Nothing of that. They can't stop the run. Right. And we're trying to do gun runs and gun formations, and the O-line is just getting destroyed. So I just wish the Bears would cue into what they're doing in Philly and what they're doing for the Giants and just be like, hey, Daniel Jones has been a liability to us, but look how we've been able to shield him. Right. Look how Jalen Hurts, right? People didn't believe in him. Right. He's actually playing well, but look how we've shielded him, to be able to break out and do what he's comfortable with. And I think that's a mark of a good coach and a good coordinator. And that's what I'm waiting for the Bears to do, because yes, we don't have the weapons. We're similar to the Giants, but you look at the Giants and what we're doing is completely night and day. So hats off to them, man.
I think they're ready for the weapons, and you guys aren't ready for the weapons yet. Like, you don't want to waste weapons, right? Like, if you're
we have an application in for weapons. We're going through the submission phase right now.
Yeah, the background checks.
Do the background checks, clear everybody out, make sure our wide receiver in the first round doesn't have a broken leg when we draft him, Kevin White, whatever. That's a different story for a different time. But no, Corey, man, you're right. I mean, that was the blueprint, right? Because Nick, I mean, let's be honest. I don't know if you do confidence pools, or I don't know what gets you going or whatever. But I've bet against the Giants for like the last 3 weeks, and they're that team. They're that team this year, right? And they have to be taken seriously at one point. And if you're at 5-1 right now in this NFC, you can kind of, I mean, I don't want to say write your ticket to the playoffs, Nick, but I mean, we're getting pretty close, because this NFC is going to be really bunched up this year. I see a lot of 8, 9, 10 win teams, and I don't see a lot of 12, 13 to compete with.
Well, to your point on the confidence pools, I'm in survivor pools, and people are dropping left and right with the Packers going down, right, and the Bucks going down. Like, there's these teams that everyone thought were going to be forces to be reckoned with that just absolutely are getting embarrassed by really subpar teams. Yeah,
I can't tell if Corey's just really into it or if he's frozen.
I think he's just super happy. He's got a great smile.
I want to get him back for just a second, because I did want to try and squeeze in like 60 to 120 seconds of Bama Tennessee talk if possible.
Let's do it.
Yeah, but let's see if we can get him back real quick. While we're waiting for him, Nick, let's fit it in now, man. Padres baseball. I know it's Bleav NFL live stream, but we're all hanging out. We're all having a good time. I'm sure you are just bringing me into your emotional sphere. Just bring me into your state.
I will say that last night was one of the happiest I've ever been as a sports fan. Now, Let me just kind of run everyone down my teams that I support. Obviously, the San Diego Padres, the Chargers, the Texas Longhorns, and the LA Clippers. So if you are knowledgeable in all those sports, you will know that those teams have not been very good or gotten any championships, really. I lived in San Diego when the Longhorns won the 06 national championship, the 05 season. Right. I didn't move to Texas till 2 months after that happened. So I technically wasn't
Vince Young, right? That's the
Vince Young. Yeah, at the Rose Bowl. So I technically have never seen a championship for any of my personal teams. So for the Padres just to get to the NLCS is something that people haven't seen since '98. I was 3 years old when that happened. And I'm ecstatic. I mean, I don't really know how to really describe it in words. I mean, I can only imagine what this next series is going to hold. And if we make it to the World Series, anything can happen.
You missed out on Ken Caminiti, Greg Vaughn, Kevin Brown, Tony. And so real quick, my final one on that real quick is just walk us through what it's like beating the Dodgers to go to the NLCS, because I mean, they've been beating on you for a while. We talk a lot about it's the Bills' time now. This is the Padres' time moment.
Yeah, they call us the Dragon Slayers now, right? They got 111 wins, most in franchise history, and it's all for nothing. Feels so good. We didn't win a single series against them all season long, but the one that mattered, we got it done. And I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen.
Well, I mean, dude, first of all, good for you. Congratulations, man. I mean, I think,
thank you, brother.
I think you guys should be favored probably heading into this next series against the Phillies. I don't know what the win totals were. Was it 89 to 90, something like that for both of you guys? So
they're the 6 seed, we're the 5 seed. And I think it's just pretty crazy that you have home field advantage in the NLCS as a 5 seed. So
it's unbelievable. Are you going to try and go to a game?
I am looking at tickets. So realistically, it would be the Tuesday or Wednesday game, but the Wednesday game's during the day. So that might be a little tricky, but possibly game 1. Hopefully it doesn't make it to game 6 and 7, so we don't have to come back to San Diego. But if they go to the World Series, I'm for sure going to a game.
Yes. Yeah. Just say to yourself, it'll be money that I'll never be able to spend on anything else. Just make it happen.
Yep. Exactly.
Corey, we got you back?
Yeah. You guys got me?
Yeah, we got you. So we got just a couple minutes here. I want to do a quick little preview of Cowboys Eagles. But first, man, do you have any thoughts on Bama Tennessee yesterday?
Man, Tennessee has looked great all year. I've followed them pretty closely. The quarterback is an absolute machine, man. I really like what I see from him. His ability to run, his passes. I mean, he's throwing dimes out there. And Alabama, I mean, they've almost gotten beat by a few teams this year. So I don't think they're the Alabama that we're used to seeing, right? That dominant team. So
just when he gets on a roll, we lose him.
I know.
That's such a bummer.
I think
man, I was ready.
Tennessee fans might have taken down his Wi-Fi too, along with the goalpost.
Yeah, dude. So first of all, what an amazing night, right? I mean, you can just think of the thousands of shots that were taken, thousands of mistakes that were made last night, and whether relationships were bonded or destroyed that night. I think it'll only be a tale to tell in the years to come. So help me out, Nick, real quick. I'll profess I don't watch a ton of college football. Give me what you think projection wise. Where is Hooker in the NFL talent range right now? I mean, the size isn't there, but man, the dude's putting up numbers. I mean, the kid can play. So like, how do we project out on that as it stands like right now?
I mean, if you look at size, it's going to show you that they don't really care that much these days, because Kyler Murray went number 1 overall. Baker Mayfield went number 1 overall. You see Russell Wilson starting for the Broncos tomorrow.
Let's ride.
Hooker. Yeah, let's ride. Let's not ride. Let's go Chargers. I'll be at that game. But
nice.
I mean, I just think he's a winner, and with today's age of quarterback, like, you got to be able to move in the pocket. He can do that. You got to have a rocket of an arm. He has that. You got to have that killer instinct. He has that, right? He just took down Bama in a shootout. These big games that he plays down the stretch are going to be really telling, because these are the games that the NFL scouts are going to look at. How did you play against NFL prospects, right? This Bama game is going to be huge for his game tape. This, Georgia game that they play eventually is going to be huge for their game tape. So, seeing him go against the NFL talent is going to be really telling. But man, I'm all for it. I mean, it's nice to see Tennessee, get some love back again. Ole Miss playing really good football too. So it's nice to see those teams kind of start to come to fruition after many long years of success and then some down years, and right in time for the Texas Longhorns and OU to join the SEC, where we're going to have some parity in the SEC.
Yeah. I'm always curious about guys too, as well. And I feel like Hooker kind of fits into this mold a little bit of, he doesn't really have maybe the NFL prospect shine that some of the other guys do walking into a season, but he keeps putting up numbers. He keeps winning big ball games. We'll see with Georgia coming up. And then that interesting narrative goes, well, some people have him as a top 10. Some people have him falling out of the first round. And then that pivot narrative before the NFL draft happens. And does he rise up, or is he actually a guy that slips and maybe goes to a great situation? Right. And then maybe can be a guy that plays. But I'm always just really curious when guys continue to defy whatever expectations we put on them and throw for 5 touchdowns and beat Alabama,
right?
52-49 in a game. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. And that kicker, obviously, balls of steel to bang that game winner. I've always wondered, like, what does the rest of the night look like for a college kicker to hit a game winner, especially against Bama? Like, wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall, just like on that guy's shoulder all night long?
Going out. I don't know, people kissing your quads. I don't know, but probably, no, I mean, it's a great night to show face, because we talked a little bit earlier about the Jets and the Giants winning big football games. They're going to be on the cover of every publication in New York tomorrow. And how rare is it that the Jets and Giants are going to be a huge story?
Yeah.
And I said, of all the nights to go out and show a little face, Robert Saleh needs to go out tonight. You know what I mean?
He does. Yeah,
he needs to go out, and everyone
needs to get his bald head rubbed a little bit.
Your table's right this way, sir. Like, exactly. Go on and go out.
We got the Yankees, winning right now in their elimination game. So, right now it's starting to look like a really nice era for sports in New York. And look, I'm not a New York sports fan, but it is nice to see New York sports fans get into it, and start to, build a little confidence. So, the underdogs can kind of take them down here. But when the Jets and the Giants are good, things are positive, I think, in the NFL. I think, the sports world starts to buzz a little more. And if you win in New York, you're a king. Like we talk about all the time, the Knicks are a terrible organization, but if you're that NBA player to go ahead and save the Knicks, you're going to be king of New York. Like Jared Jeter was a god. If there's not going to be someone like him for a long time, Judge is getting close, but is he going to stay with New York, as a Yankee, or is he going to go somewhere else for the money? So we'll see what happens, but the Giants have got a real legitimate shot here to have some boys get on the big screen and kind of be kings of New York for a little bit.
Well, and you brought up a great point. I'm in complete agreement with you. I love it when New York teams are really good, because then the underdog can kick their ass.
Yeah,
that's who you want to take down. You always want to take down New York. So in some sort of weird way, I do want the Knicks to be good. I would love to play Bulls Knicks in a conference finals game. You know what I mean? Game 6 100%. In Madison Square. Yeah, that's classic. That's the best way to take in sports. We got just a couple minutes here with Nick Kreider from Charity Stripe. Just preview the Dallas Eagles game for me tonight. What do you like? What do you don't like? Who do you think wins? Predict a winner.
People thought I was like smoking a crack pipe when I said the Dallas Cowboys were going to win, or not win the Super Bowl, get to the Super Bowl preseason. I thought they would get to the Super Bowl. And look, they haven't had Dak Prescott, and who knows what their record would be if he was still playing, but they've been playing some amazing football due to their defense. I mean, at the end of the day, they've got, a top 5 defense in the NFL, and their weapons are starting to finally click, and they're starting to, be healthy and kind of work off of each other. And Cooper Rush has managed the game very well. I wouldn't say it's super sexy. Obviously, he's not, throwing 300-yard games, but the running back tandem of Zeke Elliott and Pollard going back and forth, it's a nice little, change of pace where they've got fresh legs and they're able to do different things and complement each other. But the Eagles, top dog in the NFL right now, they've got a great defense as well, and their rush attack is just super deadly. So I'm really interested to see if the Cowboys defense can stymie this Eagles offense. I think that's going to be the biggest tell right there. If it becomes a shootout, Dallas can't keep up. I mean, I can't expect Cooper Rush to, outthrow or even outrun Jalen Hurts in that offense. So it's really just going to come down to if the defense can show up to play against the Eagles.
Yeah, it's been really curious. I mean, the Eagles offense has been fantastic this year. We all know about Jalen Hurts, possible MVP candidate at this point right now. But they haven't really done like 4 quarters top to bottom offensive football. They've been a couple of like dry spells in their games a little bit. So, good on you for picking the Cowboys. I think everyone did that thing where we were a little too casual about it. We're a team that is a really good, talented defense with guys that we all know, Tavon Diggs, Micah Parsons, all that stuff. But they said, you know what? Too many turnovers last year. It's got to go back the other way. Like, we did this easy step into doing a reverse trend and reverting back to the norm. And maybe the turnovers have kind of been there. They might not be on this record-setting pace, but dude, that defense is really, really good. It hasn't changed anything. And maybe that's where they slept on them a little bit.
And from my experience of watching football, my many years, defenses get better over time as well. So, they continue to shut teams down, and they only build more confidence, and, the players kind of work off each other. So I think this defense, is just going to continue, especially in the absence of Dak. Like, when your superstar goes down, teams either fold or they band together, to kind of create some magic, similar to what the Padres are doing when Tatis was out, and similar to what the Braves did last year when Acuna was out. Right. Yeah. So the Cowboys have done that. I mean, they haven't lost since Dak has gone down.
Yeah, and in terms of staying power too, I've talked about this often, where of course when you get into the playoffs, we start talking about all the stars and the matchups, and the one that is always the least sexy, that no one wants to do or ever talk about, but it turns into the one that sometimes makes or breaks a Super Bowl, is defensive line and offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like the Rams with Jared Goff, all their hopes, taken away by a Patriots defensive line.
Oh, what a boring Super Bowl.
But you know what I'm saying, though? They had that run and gun offense, and just it's not sexy. It's not fun to talk about, but the Cowboys have that. And maybe that's where you start to realize, they have a little bit of staying power. So you're going with the Cowboys tonight. Is that what we're saying?
I don't know about tonight, but because I really don't know how much longer this rush magic is going to last. If they had Dak Prescott, it's a different game. It just is. You're able to keep up with the offense. Dak can improvise on his legs, and he's got a better arm. My gut's gonna say Eagles, just because they've been playing amazing ball, and I really think Jalen Hurts is gonna win Most Improved Player this year. Just by and large, he's really worked on his accuracy, and that was the biggest thing. And of course, they went out and got him another weapon in AJ Brown, but at the end of the day, like, he's taking care of the ball. He's running when he needs to. Last year, I think he was just running to run, like kind of what Justin Fields is doing, right? Like, he doesn't have a ton of options, so he just runs.
No other choice.
Exactly. No other choice.
But survival. Yeah.
That's kind of how it was last year, right? Where like Devontae Smith was his only guy. I mean, Jalen Reagor might as well have just been a decoy all game. And thank God they got rid of that guy. But yeah, now he's running with purpose and he's throwing with purpose. And so until they lose, I'm not going to pick against them.
I'm picking against them. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of more of a gut call where I kind of like read the tea leaves of a season, and the Eagles do have to like lose at some point.
Maybe it's in the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my God. God help us all. An undefeated Philadelphia Eagles fans going into a Super Bowl. That'd be absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the key tonight, as you're bringing up a good point, is that can the Cowboys keep their offense long enough on the field to kind of keep it balanced and not play with this game of, will the Cowboys defense run out of steam at some point? You give the Eagles enough plays on offense, they're going to score points. Can you limit that? And that's obviously the blueprint for the Cowboys to begin with. So I feel like that they can maybe sneak one out tonight. I mean, I didn't go heavy in my confidence pool on this.
Right.
I think I put like a 3 spot on it. So you know what I mean? I'm not saying run to betonline.ag, but
it is in Philly though. So I mean,
yeah.
Cooper Rush has one on the road, but like against the Rams, like, is that really a road game? No. Like he won against New York, in New York, but he also, won a couple games at home. So I don't know. That Philly atmosphere is going to be a lot different than anything he's experienced before.
We got to get out of here. This was the Bleav NFL live stream Week 6 reaction show. I want to thank so much my guest today. It was Bleav in Seahawks, the Take 12 podcast, Brett Davern himself, my co-host for Bleav in Bears, former Bears defensive end Corey Wootton, and the Charity Stripes' very own Hook 'em Longhorns. Also check out all their wonderful content. Nick Kreider, man, dude, it was the first time we did this together, man.
Yeah,
Thank
a lot
you
of
so
fun,
much
man.
for taking the time. Yeah, great to see you. And we got about 11 more weeks of this season, so we'd love to have you back. I'd love to do a charity stripe powwow.
Oh, for sure.
You do a little one of these weeks coming up. Pick a juicy matchup of some games and check that out, man. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back next Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can follow us at Bleav Sports or at Bleav Network. Check out all of our fantastic podcasts. We have 32 NFL podcasts right now with 32 former NFL players and 32 wildly talented co-hosts to go with them. Make sure you check that out, and we will see you next week.